Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the return of the Wrestling Challenge series. There are many episodes available. I'm hoping for maybe 50 to 100 available on various file sharing sites. We're going to start to do weekly episodes of that. And so matches will be kind of indiscriminate in the sense of no real pattern to what's there, but we open with July 16th, 1989. Brutus Beefcake and Greg Evans. Beefcake with some body slams here. He manages a backbreaker and then whips the man in for a sleeper. Your commentators on this particular day are Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Tony Schiavone. This is during the time Schiavone is here. And then, of course, Beefcake is moving towards the SummerSlam match with Hulk Hogan and Zeus and the Macho Man Randy Savage. That tag team match, the second SummerSlam ever. In the update, they show Ronnie Garvin, who had been transitioned to a referee about a month or two before, disqualifying Dino Bravo for kind of being overly aggressive against an enhancement talent. But Jack Tunney says he plans and is in fact going to disqualify or fine and possibly again suspend Garvin for his inability to maintain decorum and the rules. So that kind of goes there. I remember seeing Ronnie Garvin even doing some refereeing at house shows, which was a different experience to see a wrestler doing refereeing duties at house shows. Then we move on to the Brainbusters against Gary Wolfe and Tony Durante. Now, if those names sound familiar, they should. They are the pit bulls from ECW fame. About 4 years or so, maybe, something like that, 4 or 5 years before they hit ECW, and they are enhancement talents here. Good double team work by the Brainbusters. Brainbusters, of course, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. Probably one of my favorite WWF tag team heel-wise. Probably the Brainbusters for this run. Blanchard manages to hit quite a few shots. Anderson, of course, with his spine buster. They work together as such a good team. And to think that they were only here from about October 88 to November 89, just over a year, is insane. Spike Piledriver, still to this day, my favorite tag team finish of all time. So certainly seeing them do that is cool too. We move to the event center. This is a nondescript event center, meaning there isn't a card they're promoting. Tito Santana talks about betrayal at the hands of Rick Martel. That is literally, probably about 3 months off of the WrestleMania 5 betrayal by Martel, where he, walked away from his tag partner, former tag team championship partner. And it's here, and then we go to the other half. Bad News Brown basically says Hulk Hogan's ducking him. He can't go anywhere, not around the streets of Harlem, not anywhere without basically being made a joke out of. Then we move to a enhancement talent match with Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Snuka 89-90. Certainly not where he was in 82 through 85 before leaving the first time. But 89-90, he's valuable, of course, by WrestleMania 7, 91, not so much. Snuka, a guy who I didn't learn until I think it was last year that he could never read or write, but managed to make quite a living for himself, of course. Got a lot of controversy. He hits several chops and backbreaker and the Superfly Splash. And his opponent, Barry Horowitz. Horowitz, of course, a major enhancement talent of note. Bobby the Brain Heenan leaves the broadcast booth for the second time on this particular broadcast. This time to second to the Intercontinental Champion of the time, Rick Rude. I love Rick Rude in this particular run. I actually really enjoyed the lead up to WrestleMania 5. Rude was in the first main event that I ever saw live. Rick Rude and Andre the Giant versus Hacksaw Duggan and Jake the Snake Roberts was the main event of that March. I think it was March 3rd, March 4th, 1989 card. So Rick Rude will always have a special place in my heart. Not that he shouldn't for his own talents, but when you when you're a kid and you go and you see that live, Andre the Giant is seconding Bobby Heenan out there. I don't really quite understand that, except he's getting ready for the Warrior, one would assume. Rude does hit a beautiful power slam on his adversary here, gets up and does the hip swivel, and then hits the Rude Awakening and calls out a lady and does all of that he normally does. Then we move to Demolition, Axe, and Smash, the tag team champions of the world as baby faces in this day and age and time. They are to be facing off against the Gladiator and Dave Pullman. Before we get there, though, Brother Love Show with Randy Savage. Basically, the challenge has been made and accepted for SummerSlam. Beefcake Barber instead of Brutus the Barber Beefcake is the name that Zeus gives to his adversary. He basically says he's going to destroy him. Bruce Pritchard seems lost out there with Zeus trying to really get this over. Randy Savage does the majority of the talking and the majority of the hype. Then there is a follow-up promo between Beefcake and Hulk Hogan. That follow-up promo is relatively simple. Basically, they say they've had an alliance for quite a while. They are intimidated by Zeus, but not backing down. Savage, I guess, has laid out Beefcake. That goes all the way back to the February 2nd, February 3rd, something like that, 1989 main event. So their feud's been going for, 4 or 5 months at this point, and culminating in that SummerSlam run. That's the thing, too. Feuds could run, 3, 6, 9, 12 months. The benefit of a guy like, or guys like Tito Santana and Greg Valentine went a year and a half on and off. Couldn't do that today. They don't know how to write stories like that today. Anyway, Axe and Smash again in their enhancement match here, and Gladiator comes in. This is such a basic match. Punch kick, basic stuff. Nothing to write home about. Short clothesline by Smash. Then we see the Decapitator by Axe and Smash. They get the victory there. Ted DiBiase up next. He has a gift for Jake Roberts. Roberts was put on the shelf, I believe, in May or June of this year. Brings out for Roberts, who apparently, if we're to believe Ted DiBiase, and no, we shouldn't, but if we did, we would hear that he has permanently taken out Jake Roberts, which is not true. Of course, Jake comes back, probably, let's see, in time for Survivor Series. Actually, before that, I don't think he's back for SummerSlam, but I think he comes back in the fall. But DiBiase has a gold-bladed, 14 karat gold-plated neck brace for Roberts, kind of mocking him. Of course, he's there with Virgil as well, and it is what it is as far as that's concerned. Meanwhile, we see the run of the mill, so to speak, with Hillbilly Jim and Sunny Beach. Nothing to write home about here. Hillbilly Jim, of course, comes in, I think, in 85. And by 89, kind of near the end of his run, shoulder tackles and a big boot get him the victory there. He's more here as a guy to go on house show tours. Of course, by this point, actually, I think still doing some stuff with Andre the Giant since Big John Studd had left. I remember house show in Boston and Providence area, both areas where I was localized, that he replaced Big John Studd a couple of times on some house show loops through in the summer of 89. Bobby Heenan quits the announce booth of the area here during the final match, which is Mr. Perfect and Dave Paradise. Perfect hits a drop kick under the chin. Perfect hits, some clotheslines and an axe handle there. The inverted neck snap and a victory for Mr. Perfect after a perfect flex. Of course, getting him ready for his run with Bret Hart seems to be the major run there. And that is the close of this particular program. And we will be back with more right after this.